What's going on YouTube? Modeling that back at you. This will be the start of a new video build series. As if you've been on my Facebook page or seen my Facebook page, you'll know that I've been working on the 1 to 350th RMS Titanic. That has been a complete nightmare of a build, fit issues and everything else. So just wanting to take a little bit of a diversion from that and really press through on a project that I've been wanting to get built up for a long time, and that would be this monogram 124 scale Alan Kulwicki Hooters Thunderbird, or the Underbird as they were called in the 92 season. So looking around the box, you can see standard Revell monogram boxing, kit number 0762, and then getting some finished build photos. So this kit being released in 1995, if you're wanting to build it as the actual car would have been seen on track, do not expect to get all of the decals in this. Again, in I believe it was 91, 92 time frame, they changed over to basically no longer be able to include the tobacco and alcohol sponsorship on the cars. So you are missing a couple of the contingency decals to build it as Alan would have driven this car at that time. But again, I'll leave the parts bagged up for a moment here. It's pretty much just a standard NASCAR kit that, monogram release. It's a standard generic kit. Build's pretty straightforward, starting with your interior, getting all of that put together, dash, firewall, things like that, starting with the roll cage, getting that built up, both sides, making sure you get the alignment correct on the steering wheel and dash, top part of the roll bar, getting that slid around and locked into place on the top, fuel cell, rear kicker bars, and then rear suspension and rear end. Again, putting the wheels together, going through building up the engine, the exhaust, getting the drive shaft into place, front suspension, and all of the steering mechanism, getting that put on, fitting the radiator and shrouds, coolers, and then onto the finishing hoses, the front frame, dash plate, going through and fitting the front shocks, a few additional braces for the windshield, fitting the actual windows, the rear spoiler, getting that on, rear bumper, front bumper, getting that all attached, putting the additional decals on the underside of the hood, and then pretty much the generic paint and decal placement. So the one thing I did note as I was kind of preparing for this build, or this video I should say, as kind of an interesting thing that I didn't notice before, the Thunderbird kit that they published with this fret is actually the 85 or 83 to 86 Thunderbirds, because it has the two corner marker lights and the center front hub. Again, those parts wouldn't be used for this car, but it is kind of interesting that they repurposed this. So if you ever happen to need one or something like that, this is one way you might be able to kind of salvage or scrap, find the parts for a little bit cheaper than trying to find the old 83, the 80s kits and stuff like that. But this kit definitely going to be in the modern early 90s NASCAR. So again, got the seal broken, standard white body, and then the front hood, front bumper, rear bumpers, pretty straightforward, and then the obligatory bag of bits that builds up the chassis, which was pretty much identical for all of these kits. So you have the main chassis part, rear suspension, exhaust pipes, headers, or exhaust system I should say, then the upper roll bar, the kicker bars, side for the roll bars, the engine parts, rear suspension, the rear end. Again, yeah, mold starting to get pretty used up, so got quite a bit of flash on it. Inner wheel hubs. Actually, these are nice. These actually, just realized this is the chrome sprue just de-chromed. So that's kind of nice if you want to paint the aluminum for the heads, or if you have a different color, which, hint hint, I will, for the rims. It's kind of nice having those in chromed and non-chromed. So again, if you want an extra spare parts, here would be the wheel backs, the fuel cell, firewall, front end there, and then the seat. Tires, pretty obligatory, not much to say there. The one nice thing about these kits was they did come with a 5x7 photo of the driver, so Alan Kulwicki in this case. And then last but not least is the decal sheet, which, again, for old Revell monogram, pretty much what you'd expect. The yellowish sheet here. Decals for the most part are pretty good. However, the one thing that does happen with these is the glue or adhesive that is on the decals on the backside does yellow. And so what I had done on some of the models that I've built before was carefully pull it out of the water, lay it face down on like the palm of my hand, and then carefully massage off all of the adhesive, and then use something like a micro mark or some other item that would actually seal the decal down to the actual paint work. So definitely something you'll have to keep an eye on. Now, on to what this build is actually going to be for. As you've seen in the thumbnail, there was a die cast. So I happened to come across this at a die-cast shop, and this is basically a Goof car that made it out into the populace. It's not been opened, it's not been resealed, anything like that. The car itself has its original pins. So again, it's an unmolested car, but it is a complete Goof. So where this car comes into place, you have obviously the Alan Kulwicki body. You have the front of a Mark Martin Valvoline car with the red, white, and or the red, light blue, and dark blue, and then you have the gold rims that would have come most likely from Bobby Allison's Thunderbird, the Ford Buick, goodness, that he would have run, or some other car that again would have had the gold rims. Again, I just contributed to Bobby because of the card on the back. But this Goof has always just kind of intrigued me as just kind of a fun one. I think it definitely looks cool having the gold rims on the Alan Kulwicki Hooters scheme. Also, it is just completely goofy to see the red and blue stripes on the front of the car. So this build is going to be a tribute to this die-cast. I'm most likely going to paint the bottom of the chassis white. I am debating on the windows if I want to go ahead and try to black them out, or if I want to go ahead and just black out the interior. I'm still debating on that part of it. I also have the contingency sheet. Most of the decals from the actual sheet here are what's on the car. So again, I want to try to make it as accurate of a representation of this die-cast as I can. Again, just kind of as a homage to the funness that is die-cast collecting. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the build. Again, something a little bit obscure, not really something that would have ever existed in the real world other than the, again, funness of die-cast. So I'll be back at you with part 1, which will be getting the body together and then probably getting the roll cage assembled off the chassis and get it ready to start the painting. So catch you guys later.